It's not always fun and games for first responders.
05 Central, you show me in pursuit.
But sometimes it is.
Oh my God, he's not wearing pants again.
Sometimes it's dangerous.
Flipping around, look out, look out, look out.
Sometimes it's not.
Antler Boulevard for a snake in a house.
And sometimes it's just plain stupid.
Chihuahua in his lap on a lawnmower.
This is the stupid side of first response.
Dispatch, do I really have to go to that?
This is Code 0.5.
Come in 0.5.
Hey everybody, it's Jason with my co-host Rich, and we're in Victory Brand Studios, and we can't get the wives to go away. They're starting to feel like Renniks.
Ooh, don't go to sleep. Don't go to sleep.
Just shows up and won't go away.
Nope. I'm going to go ahead and call the night supervisor and tell him we're going to be working at 30.
And you know, I might have blurted that out, but Holly, I want you to know, Rich, he texted me and told me to say it.
Really?
No. Ouch.
So, it's all on him.
No.
Remember how you saying earlier how I always get you in trouble?
Yeah. Somehow or another, I'm always the bastard for things you say.
Yeah, nobody ever says anything to me. It's always you.
Yeah, I know. I catch it all.
Well, heck, I think everybody thinks that this is your deal and that I'm just some person that comes around every now and then.
No.
Like, oh my gosh, it's Rich.
No.
And then there's that fat guy that's with him. You're the one always insulting me, so don't look at me.
You get low self-esteem going on there.
Yeah. She showed me a picture when I first started in law enforcement.
Yeah.
I've really let myself go.
The job
I
will
saw
do
it
to
and
you.
I was like, holy crap.
They'll do it to you.
I literally was like half the size I am now.
Oh. Was this like some kind of weird intervention thing? Is that what we're doing here? Is that what this was about?
Intervention to get him to stop eating cake.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
It's not cake, it's pizza.
Ice cream, beer,
Oh.
burgers. Ask him what we ate on the way over here.
What'd you eat on the way over here?
I had a burger.
He had a supersonic burger.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's easy.
Because I'm super.
Super fat.
That's easy.
Jeez, come on.
No. I was going to tell you, though, that reminds me, when you said cake. So we had a birthday party, then Renniks came, and the
Did he eat all the cake for the kids?
No. He did eat a lot of it, but the outer ring of it had yellow frosting, and somebody made a comment about it is that lemon flavored? And he's like, he looks at it and he's like, nah, can't be. He's like, they wouldn't do that to you. And then he goes off on this not really a rant, but he's off on this like tangent of, yeah, man, I don't know. I couldn't do yellow frosting. Well, I guess if I was hard up, I was just really hard up, but I couldn't just eat yellow frosting like that. I was like, so in all the times that you've ate frosting, you just, consumed it from an aerosol can, you would just have to be so hard up.
He damn sure ate the blue one.
Yeah,
though.
he did. Yeah, he was all on that today.
So he was really sitting there having like a debate with himself about eating yellow frosting?
Yeah, he's like, nah, I'd have to be really hard up to eat lemon flavored frosting.
Lemon
as opposed to all the other times that you've, sucked frosting from an aerosol can. But yeah.
Well, that's your buddy.
Why are you staring at me?
Not.
Speaking of this, so earlier in the week, he got a call. And so there's about the facility they care thing that's here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they get people come in from time to time. And sometimes they're cool and sometimes they're complete asses, but they don't ever know until they get here. So apparently they had one show up and it could not deal with her. They couldn't make her happy. There was nothing they could do. And so.
Typical woman.
Ow. So they call and they're like, well, look, I guess they talked to Renniks went over there and they were telling them, because I ended up getting called over there. But anyway, they go in there and tell Renniks, they're like, look, we've tried. We give her her own room. We move things around. We can't. There's nothing we can do to make her happy. She don't want to be here. And we're trying to get her to go, but she won't go. She won't get her stuff and load up. Well, we'll take her wherever she wants, and we'll do whatever. We'll get her a motel room. If that's what she wants, we'll just, she can be on her own, be happy, do whatever. But we can't get her to leave.
They were going to do all that for her. And she still wouldn't go.
She still wouldn't go. She wanted to sit there and gripe at them. So
typical woman.
So Renniks goes over there and he tries to talk to her, and it didn't work out because he ended up getting called off onto something else. Something that was more important. I think it was like suspected drunk driver or something came through, and he's like, okay, well, I can't sit here all day. I got to go take care of that. So he goes on that. Well, then the lady ends up calling, and so dispatch hollers, and they're like, 3, you're needed back down at that address again. But this time she wants the governor and what did she say? Like the commander in chief or the president or something like that. She wants them. And he goes, oh, okay. And he gets this look on his face, and he's just like, great. And I was like, you know what? I just had somebody call me to take a report. Why don't you go take that report, and I'm going to go down here and talk to this lady. And so he goes, all right. So I get down there and I get out of the car and I go walking in, and the administrator of the place comes walking up to me, and she's like, we just can't. There's nothing we can do with her. And I was like, I got this. She's like, oh? I was like, yeah. So I walk in there and I was like, hi, what's going on? I introduced myself, and she's kind of giving me the what for. And I was like, well, our dispatch said that you were wanting to talk with the governor. And she's like, yes, I can't. This goes off on the rant about the place. And I was like, well, you know what? It just so happens that the governor is in a meeting in Shawnee right now. And I have called ahead, and he knows you're going to be on your way. She goes, really? I said, yes, ma'am. She goes, well, let's go. Let's go right now. So they freaking loaded her up, gave her a carton of cigarettes and some money. But
she's going to go smoke a carton of cigarettes.
Waiting on the governor, because she's going to be waiting a while.
And Renniks couldn't get that one solved?
He was really trying to do it tactfully, I think.
Oh.
And finally, we resorted to that. I don't think he wanted to be that guy. So I had to do it. But
that's pretty good, though. I mean, like telling her, hey, the governor is uptown there. And
yeah, he'll be there. He's going to be waiting on you.
And she was gung-ho about leaving then.
Oh, yeah, dude. She was like a rocket. She wanted to go.
Problem solved.
Problem solved. That, I mean, what... They tried everything. First she had a roommate.
So they gave her a hotel room.
Yeah.
$40, a carton of cigarettes.
Mm-hmm. And then she had
trying to bribe her to get her to leave.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she had some kind of money card thing or something or whatever. And her money didn't come in until it would have been, I think the next day, whenever the first was, is when, and it was either the next day or whatever, the day after that. But anyways, that's what the whole thing was about. She was mad because she had spent all her money and she had no money. But they ended up, I guess, taking her Shawnee. I don't know. I'm
surprised she didn't just head straight on up to Oklahoma City, go to the Capitol.
I know. That's probably where she'll be headed, because when she figures out that the governor ain't there, she's going to be mad. She's going to want to talk to him.
There's probably some officer up there that was telling her, you know what? You just missed him.
Yep.
If you go to Oklahoma City, you could catch him.
Yep. And they'll gladly,
Was she driving?
No.
Oh.
They gave her a ride, but I've heard stories from older, the OKC guys. And I guess apparently back in the day when they'd have people that they couldn't deal with or they were running into, they would go to the Greyhound and you could buy a one-way bus ticket for like $20. Huh. And so they were shooting them to Shawnee. And then Shawnee eventually caught on to what they were doing and started shooting them back over that way. So they just kept doing this shuffle back and forth. I don't know.
Did you hear about they're doing the same kind of thing, but they found out that it was homeless people, I guess, that there was officers up in like Colorado that were buying them bus tickets and shipping them down to Oklahoma.
Really?
That's the rumor that was going around. That's how, because if you talk to them, some of them will tell you that's how they got here.
Really?
That some officer there bought them a ticket and said that they have all these things for homeless people and they help you out and all this.
Oh, that's jacked up. Only thing we got down here is tornadoes.
Yeah.
Maybe the governor should start stepping up and doing something more for our homeless people.
Either that or they could just go get a job. Ow, why'd you hit me for?
There's programs I've seen where they go through and like you register. I forget what city it is, but they register with them, and then they go through and they have things like picking up trash, collecting trash, or like city cleanup. If you go through and like you help clean or whatever, they basically roll it over, and then you get like one of those gift card things to places, and then like like hotel room vouchers and stuff like that. Then they try to get them to do that. I mean,
well, and when I was saying the job thing,
Mhm.
I wasn't being a smart ass. The what state was it? Well, like in California, you know how the homeless population is so terrible? It's because they just keep throwing money at it and it's not helping. One of the states, and it's more towards the center of the country, they set up like these neighborhoods that have tiny homes. And they give these homeless people a home there, and they provide them a job in that community. And they work, and they pay, like, the bills they have to pay is like real minimal. But then they also give them training to do other things, and then set them up for jobs outside of that, to where they go and they get this job in the real world, and then they get their own apartment somewhere. And
So it's like a
and it kind of
stepping
like
stone thing.
assist them to get back into working and in the real world.
I got you.
And it's working,
Yeah.
but nobody else wants to do it.
See, I think that's a lot of stuff like that needs to happen with people that are getting out of prison and stuff. Because those dudes, I mean, they got some of them, I guess, that offer stuff, but some of them they don't have any kind of skill or anything.
Yeah.
And that's all they've got to fall back to is what they knew before. You know what I'm saying? So,
Have you ever driven? Well, hell, you ever driven by the library downtown in Shawnee?
Yes.
The front,
Today.
all those homeless people that are sleeping under there.
Wow. It's bad. It's getting. What do you do?
And then there's the Salvation Army, I guess, it's right down the road, and they'll go down there and stay at night or whatever. And
Well, it's because the Salvation Army, you can only stay at night. And during the day you have to leave.
yeah, I think they have like programs and stuff going on. That's why they make them leave it during the day.
And homelessness usually goes hand in hand with mental health
Illness.
issues.
Mm-hmm.
And
then like
the sad part.
Like our last few episodes, there's mental health problems in the state.
Big ones. And it's that whole cycle is.
Well, and it's like there are so many people that have that problem and they need help. There's just not enough funding to get all of them that help.
No. And then, I mean, a lot of it too, if they're in a position like that. So they go through, they have whatever crisis event, we end up getting involved. We take them to the hospital, get them cleared. Then they get them transported. They're there for the 72-hour hold. And then they get out and they have a plan. They have like 5 days worth of meds, and they have a plan that they're supposed to go to, office and follow up with somebody, but they have no way to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They have no way to get the meds.
And see, like, when it comes to mental health, it always takes what? And y'all can help us with this, like 30 to 60 days or something for it to really get into your
At
system and
least.
start working right.
Sometimes 6 to 8 weeks, just depending on the med.
And then, like, the person will start taking these, and then they're normal, they feel right again, and they feel okay, and then they're like, oh, well, I don't need this anymore, and then they just stop, and then it starts all over again.
Which is why the support system is so important. They have to have somebody that's backing them up. Because a person with those type of issues aren't usually going to be the type that can fully take care of themselves or make those kind of decisions well for themselves.
No. And I don't know. And then I believe too that there's a lot of it that's kind of taken advantage of. There's situations like that don't necessarily call for it. Like a person's not in crisis, and that's the thing, that the EOD, that emergency order is for somebody that's actively in crisis. It's not, you know what I'm saying, if they can take themselves. If they recognize they're in crisis, then they can go. Like, I mean, people are calling, and they'll call us and they'll say, hey, they need to go. And there won't be anything really
Well, there's a
we
guy
need to
that
get
lives
involved
around
with.
here, just south of here a ways. And I will go where he's at, and I always forget about him. And it's usually because he'll get his meds, he'll get on him. He's on the right track. He's doing great. But then when it's time to refill that prescription, he doesn't have any way to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
So then he starts going downhill again, and he'll call in, and I'll walk, and they'll tell me the story, and I'm like, so this guy knows when this stuff is about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay. And then I'll go down there and I see him, and then it always hits me. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. And he'll tell you, he's like, I know when this is happening, I'll start to hear things. And he goes, and when it gets to that point, I'll get to where it drives me crazy. I'll think people are talking to me. I'll want to hurt them. And he goes, so I need to get somewhere, and okay, let's go.
Mm-hmm. They recognize it.
And he's not in crisis. He just knows that it's fixing to happen. And I'm like, come on, dude, I'll give you a ride. Let's go.
Yeah, it has no way to get there.
Ride.
You know what I mean? Has no way to get to where they need to get to. So, I mean, there's differences in actual crisis. And, I mean, that's, people call us for that all the time. And it's like, you know, they'll do the same thing. They'll realize that they're there. They're supposed to be on meds, and they've run out or whatever the case may be. And it's like, well, you're not where you want me to have to do this, because in order for me to do this, we aren't just getting in the car and going on a trip. Like,
yeah,
you know, you gotta sit in the back with handcuffs, and we gotta, you know what I mean? It's just, if you can go, I'd rather take you. I'll give you a ride, but you go in there and talk to them and do all that. You know, if I get involved, it's way different.
That's when you could use something like social services or some sort of.
I like the way you think, but here's the other thing. You got to get social services to do it.
Mm. See, and that's what their program they're trying to do. You know, I think in other states where it's not law enforcement that's responding, it's mental health.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's mental health professional people, but those people have no training in law enforcement. So sometimes you get these people that are in crisis and they can't talk to them. You know what I'm saying? So then you need law enforcement, because you've got to get that person safely to where they can do their job. So, but a lot of times we're getting sent to things that they should be getting sent to. You know?
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's like we'll get sent to these people that are having a mental health episode, a mental health crisis. And a lot of times the ambulance service won't transport them. They're like, nope, and they'll always say that's an EOD. Well, no, at that point, it's not an EOD. Only a doctor can say that. Mm-hmm. And it's like they're having a mental health problem. So you guys are here because y'all deal specifically with health. Mm-hmm. So help them with their problem.
Yeah.
They won't.
No, they won't kick it back off on us.
So then we put them in handcuffs and stick them in the car and then take them. And it's like, what if something medically happens on the way up there? Yeah. We're not trained for this.
Oh, we had one guy, and he was in crisis. Like, he was actively like running around. I mean, he was talking to people that weren't there. He was hearing things that weren't there. I mean, full blown schizophrenic episode, stripped down to his underwear, running through the woods in the middle of the winter. I mean, dude's boiling hot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's just super bad. Well, you get over there, and this was during COVID. And so it's like, look, man, I think you need to let's go talk to somebody about this. And so then, you know, I got to it took me a good 45 minutes to establish a rapport with this dude. Then in order to get him in the car, I've got to secure him. So in order to make him cool, we've got to do that a certain way. We get him to the hospital. He does need help, but before they would place him, they wanted him to have a COVID test. So you tell a guy that's in a full-blown schizophrenic episode that is running from the government, which is tracking him right now, that you want to stick something up his nose. And you tell me how well that's going to work out. And you know what I actually had somebody say? Because I actually got a hold of one of the big people at the Department of Mental Health. The nurse was trying to tell the doctor that it wouldn't work, or trying to tell the person with the mental health facility that probably wasn't going to work. And he's like, well, then I guess you get the cop to hold him down. And I was like, I'm not making anybody do anything they don't want to do. Like, that's not what I'm here to do.
And what if the guy assaults a nurse in his crisis of a mental state? If he assaults somebody,
yeah,
is he now a criminal, or is he still just in a mental crisis?
Well, you violated his rights trying to hold him down to force him to get a medical procedure.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it's in his best interest to get it so he can be placed in a mental health facility, you're still violating his rights.
I feel like a person who is in a crisis has as much ability to make those type of choices as a child does. Like my kid probably wouldn't want me to shove something up his nose to check him for COVID, but if he's got 102 fever, I'm going to have to do it anyways.
Yeah, because he doesn't know.
Yeah,
he doesn't know what's best for him.
In that state. I mean, there's both sides of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that whole mental health is, the whole thing's broken.
We'll have more coming up on Code 0.5.
If you're looking for a political podcast that goes beyond the headlines, check out the Beltway Briefing. I'm Howard Schweitzer, CEO of Cozen O'Connor Public Strategies. Every week on the Beltway Briefing, our team of former Republican and Democratic presidential appointees, Capitol Hill veterans, and political advocates shares behind-the-scenes perspective that cuts through the noise. If you want the inside scoop, subscribe now to the Beltway Briefing here or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, we can only hope everybody just be perfect as I am.
You're so lucky, Tasha.
Yes.
I know.
I'm sitting here and I'm like, are we really going off in this serious stuff right now?
Yes, this is a serious
We're
episode.
getting deep here.
If anybody has any suggestions,
Yeah. Actually, feedback on this episode would be pretty good. See what you guys think. If you want more serious topics. Is that your secret phone going off again?
Yep.
There it goes again.
Yeah, it is.
Somebody's girlfriend's really trying to get a hold of him.
Yep.
She better have dinner ready. She cooks better. It's just a joke, okay? I'm just playing.
This might be our last episode ever.
Dang.
I may not be a smart man. It was bad while it goes. My phone went off and I looked at the text on my watch and I was like, what? And I made this weird face. It's driving her nuts right now. She's wanting to know what it is.
Yeah.
Who was it?
You don't worry about that.
Uh-oh.
All right, you got a stupid criminal.
Or
Or do y'all have one?
I think they had one.
Well, I had one. I'd have to find it.
You're supposed to keep that stuff brought up.
Like
on your
right
phone.
there. You got to have it on deck. Ow. What? I need to file a report.
I didn't see nothing.
I didn't either.
You bastard.
So do I just read this?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. A man has been dubbed the South African dumbest criminal after he walked into a police station to check on his application to join the force. Thomas, 40, had been running for 7 years after he was wanted for stealing hardware products worth more than $10,000 that was meant to be delivered to clients. Instead, he went on the run after diverting the hardware deliveries to other addresses without the owner's consent or knowledge. What?
I'm listening to you.
Oh. God, you made me lose track. It was discovered a week later after the manager just checked the invoices. Stop looking at me. 7 years later, the suspect walked into the police station and asked about his application. Unexpectedly, they realized that he had been wanted for 7 years and was arrested and is awaiting trial.
So he applied to be a policeman?
Yeah, but he was wanted for 7 years.
Okay. Okay.
That goes back to what I said earlier.
I wonder why
I am not a smart man.
I wonder why the sudden change of heart, though.
I don't know.
Like, why all of a sudden?
I mean, he stole 10,000
years.
He stole $10,000 worth of stuff, so he's making pretty good money.
It's like statute of limitations, bitches.
Then he decided he wanted to be a poor cop. I mean,
yeah, I guess he had money banked up. Probably a pretty nice house if it was all materials that he was taking.
Oh, hardwood. I mean, yeah, probably.
What you
all
got?
right. And this stuff falls under is Title 47. It's all traffic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they have crazy stuff in here. Did you know, like, the police retirements in 47?
Really?
Yeah, don't ask me.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that.
Okay, we're not attorneys saying legal advice in this side of Oklahoma.
You didn't press the button.
I forgot which one it was.
It's that one, I think. Jason's Traffic Corner.
Anyway, improperly equipped vehicles, for if you go to sell a car, unless previously disclosed through written documentation, no person shall knowingly have for sale, sell, or offer for sale any vehicle to be operated on the highways of this state unless it is equipped as required by this chapter. In other words, all the lights have to work, basically everything that's safety related and to operate on the roadway, everything has to work properly.
But it's saying you can't sell anything unless it's road.
Nope, unless you document it that it's being sold like as is.
Oh, okay.
So if I sell you a car and they don't have working taillights, I'm wrong. No person shall knowingly equip or operate on the highways of this state any vehicle with equipment unless it complies with the requirements of this chapter. And this chapter talks about all the crap you have to have on your car.
Wow.
So you can't sell a car unless everything works on it. But if it doesn't work, you have to disclose it. So
it's got the can't see it from the house guarantee, I'm sure.
It says no person. So I'm guessing nobody can. So if you buy a car from a dealership,
that's not a person.
Well, they sell them as is.
Yeah.
It'll have it listed on there. What are you shaking your head at? You don't worry about if the stuff works right. I just pray that you get it home in one piece.
No person.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to get off on the is a slushy a object thing again.
All the lights in my car work fine, especially the low fuel.
Do you do that?
Yes, she does.
Did you see her eyes?
Every time I get in that.
Oh my gosh. We will get in the car and that damn low fuel light will
always.
Be on. Okay. What if you have an emergency and you got to get one of the kids somewhere and you have to drive them like 50 miles?
It'll make it.
Yeah. When it comes
light
on, I have 55 miles until it stops working. 55.
It'll make it.
I know how far I can go. I can leave work, drive all the way home with the light on, and I'm
living
fine.
on the edge. I can't live my life like that.
Like my patrol car, I don't let it get below half a tank.
Oh, she's going to be like, well, they pay for your gas.
And I told her, I was like, don't let it go below a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I told you before, I had half a tank one time and got into a pursuit. Right when that pursuit ended, my low fuel light came on.
Nice.
Well, I'm not going to be getting in a pursuit.
No, but you might need to go somewhere.
Like where?
That's
I don't
not
know.
going to have a gas station.
Exactly. There's one 5 miles up
Well,
the
like
road.
I was in a hurry one day to get the kids something or whatever, and I get in the car and I look, I can't even get there because there's no gas in the
You
car.
can.
Exactly.
You can go 55 miles.
And the direction I go, like if I were to drop it off at the high school, there are no gas stations between our house and the high school.
Which high school?
So I have to go out of my way to get to it.
Which
Or
high
you have to
school?
go find
Both
a
of
gas
them.
station.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I asked her. Like, do you not pass a single gas station on your way? There's two.
I have not ran
There are
out
two.
of gas in 4 years. You ran out of gas like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, wait a minute. Is it because you got in the car after she had it?
It was his patrol car.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, no. Are you serious?
No.
Yes.
Were you stranded on the side of the road?
No, I wasn't stranded on the side of the road. It did it right back behind the PD where I was. Me and Major had to like scoot it over to the gas pump. It was all right. We were good.
Why'd you let it get below half tank?
I had to go to dispatch. That car, the car that I drive, has a modification done to it. It is not a stock situation we have going on with it. So it burns.
You know what? If either of you two run out of gas, y'all call each other to help each other out.
Yeah, little Miss Dr. Pepper fuel gauge. You want to bring that up?
You've been warned. Wait a minute. What?
Yeah.
Dr. Pepper fuel gauge.
Oh, yeah. Tell them about it. Since we're throwing it out there. Come on. Let's hear it.
I'm good.
No.
Here
So,
it comes.
this one is on her way. We were living in Tulsa, and she's on her way to her mom's down here. Gets in the car and checks the fuel, I guess, I would assume, and decides that she would need to get fuel by the time she drank her Dr. Pepper. Those two would coincide. with ending together. So she could get both fuel and a new Dr. Pepper when she stopped to do both those things. 2 birds, 1 stone, right?
Yeah.
So that's what she'd go with. Yeah, no.
Didn't work out.
Hell no.
Did the fuel run out before the Dr. Pepper?
On the side of I-44 in the middle of the summer with the twins in the back of the car.
Is it that long stretch where there's no gas station over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
it was that one.
sucks.
Yeah. Yep. And it's, of course it's hot.
I never heard of the Dr. Pepper fuel gauge.
Yeah.
And I was stranded there for 2 freaking hours.
Because I was in I don't even know where I was, probably south of Tulsa. And then I got called and she called me and I'm like, I got to go. And my RSM's like, why? What's so important? I'm like, I just got to go. What happened? He thought I blew something up or something. And I'm like, no, I don't want to talk about it. And then finally I was like, look, my wife's stuck on the side of the road. I've got to go help her. Okay. Coming back, right? It's like 5 o'clock. By the time I get done with this, it's going to be like 8. Yeah, I'll be back. Yeah. Starbucks will be closed, but I'll be back. Don't get all salty with me.
Somebody be getting their ass whipped when this is over with.
Oh.
So I'm closing this out so I can see it. Thanks for listening.
Later.
You have been listening to Code 0.5, the lighter side of police work. If you have ideas or suggestions for our show, we'd love to hear from you. Visit our website at code05.co. That's code05.co. And please consider making a donation at our Patreon page, patreon.com/code05. Be sure to use the digits 05. Thanks for listening to Code 0.5.